The Banshee, the Voice of the Shadows. Part 1. The Invocation. Close your eyes. Imagine the west of Ireland, a place where the stone walls are older than the memory of man and the Atlantic mists clings to the hills like a cold, wet shroud. It is midnight. The fire in the hearth has died down to a dull orange glow. Outside, the world is silent except for the distant rhythmic thud of the sea against the black cliffs. Then it happens. A sound begins. It isn't the wind, and it isn't the cry of the fox. It's a long, low, melodic wail. It starts deep, like a vibration in your chest, before rising into a high, piercing lament that seems to shatter the very air. In Irish, we call her the Banshee, literally the woman of the mound. To the rest of the world, she is the Banshee. And for centuries, her name has been a sentence of death. If she has come to your window tonight, it is because someone in your house is about to take their final breath. But who is she? Why does she weep for us? And is she a monster or a guardian? Part 2. The Ancient Roots. The Keening Woman. To understand the Banshee, we have to travel back to an Ireland that existed before the arrival of the English, before the modern world silenced our traditions. In Gaelic society, death was not private, a quiet affair. It was a communal event. When a person died, the family would hire keeners, the Manachkainte. These were professional mourning women. Their job was to stand over the body and perform a keening, a rhythmic, poetic chant of grief. They would praise the dead man's life, recount his lineage, and then break into a haunting, wordless cry of sorrow. This was a sacred duty. The keen was believed to be the energy that helped the soul transition from this world to Tirnanog, the land of the young. Without the cry, the soul might stay trapped. But as centuries rolled on, the stories began to change. People started telling tales of the woman who wasn't human, a woman who appeared before the death occurred. They whispered of Spirit Keener, a woman of the Shida, the fairies, who was so loyal, the ancient bloodlines of Ireland, the O'Neills, the O'Briens, the O'Connors, the O'Grady's, and the Kavanaghs, that she took it upon herself to keen for them. She became the family Banshee. It was said that she only followed the pure Gaelic lines, those with an O or a Mach in their name. To have a Banshee was actually a mark of high status. It meant your blood was so ancient, so noble, that even the spirit world mourned your passing. Part 3. The Three Faces of the Spirit. One of the biggest misconceptions about the Banshee is that she is always an old, terrifying hag. In Irish folklore, she actually appears in 3 distinct forms, representing the 3 stages of womanhood. The first is the young maiden. She is breathtakingly beautiful, with skin as white as a swan's wing and hair that falls to her feet like a river of spun gold. She is often seen near streams or wells, washing the blood-stained clothes of the person who is about to die. She is the Banniha, the washer at the ford. If you see her, you are looking at your own fate. The second is the stately matron. She is a woman in her middle years, dressed in a heavy grey cloak over a deep green dress. She doesn't scream. She moans a low, sorrowful dirge that sounds like a mother losing her child. The third and most famous is the Cailleach, the hag. This is the one who haunts our dreams. She is small, withered, and dressed in tattered rags of a grave shroud. Her eyes are not just red, they are raw and bleeding from centuries of constant weeping. She is the one who perches on the windowsill and hides in the shadows of a hawthorn tree. And then there is the silver comb. In many accounts, the Banshee is seen brushing her long, wild hair with a comb made of pure silver. There are countless Irish folk stories of men finding a silver comb on a forest path and pocketing it, thinking they've found the treasure. but they are soon followed by terrifying wailing at their door. The Banshee wants her property back. The moral of the story is always the same. Never touch what doesn't belong to you or belongs to the Shida. Part 4. The Science of the Shadow. As we moved into the 20th century, scientists and skeptics tried to explain the Banshee away. They claimed people were just hearing the screams of a barn owl or a mating call of a red fox. And yes, a fox in the middle of the silent Irish night can sound terrifyingly human. But for those who have heard the true wail, a fox is no explanation. There are documented accounts from the 1800s and early 1900s, some from high-ranking British officers and cold-headed doctors who swear they heard a sound of it that defied the laws of physics, a sound that moved across a lake faster than any animal could run, or a voice that seemed to come from inside their own heads. The Banshee is more than just a ghost. She is the personification of Irish history. Our history is one of great beauty, but also of immense crushing loss. We are a people who have had to leave our homes, lose our language, and bury our children in foreign soil. The Banshee is the voice of that collective grief. She is the reminder that no one in Ireland truly dies alone. Even the loneliest soul, the last of the forgotten line, will have a voice to weep for them when the end comes. Part 5. The Final Warning. So the next time you find yourself on a quiet road in Ireland and the sun begins to dip below the horizon, pay attention to the silence. If you hear a distant sound, don't be so quick to assume it's the wind. Thank you for listening to our first journey into the Irish shadows. This channel is dedicated to the stories that modern world has tried to forget. In our next video, we're going to meet the Puka, the shapeshifter who can be your best friend or your worst nightmare, depending on how much you've had to drink. I've been your host. If you'd enjoy this, please subscribe and help us to grow this new hearth for old stories. Sleep well and keep your windows locked. I'll see you in the next one.